Is 1,199 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss. He was abducted. We believe he was abducted from the barracks, and it was for Code Red, and it had gone on for a long time, months. Months. When I say a long time, it had gone on for a long time, and it escalated to his murder. And we have been going 3 years to collect evidence, documentation, be it the phone records, be it um, autopsy reports, be it text messages, documents, um, videos, photos, testimonies, law enforcement documents, Interpol, right? Interpol. What is Dallas Hart's face doing on Richard's Interpol picture? That's a good question. Um, so, so it's all pointing to that now. If you've been watching just recently, you're saying, wow, you're kind of rash on saying that he was abducted and murdered. And I would encourage you to watch. Well, you might not want to do it because we've been doing this for 3 years, way over 3 years. And we have given all the possibilities a look. If Richard walked away, if Richard committed suicide, if Richard was hurt somewhere, if Richard was abducted, if Richard was murdered. These are all things that we have looked at, and over the time, getting all of the um, evidence together, circumstantial evidence, hard evidence, and also the irregularities. It all points to the abduction and murder of Richard, and not just that, it being internal, it being a code red. And we're now presenting all of that information to the law enforcement agencies. And we did get like a little heads up, and I don't know if it's true if you're on Fort Bliss and if you're in the CID office or near there, um, know anything about it, maybe you can tell us. But we're hearing that Dirty Agent Soto is former CID agent. So that's good news. That's really good news if that's true. Um, also, let me make sure I'm on Facebook. We've been writing letters today. So many things have happened. Here we go. And along with writing the letters, we did do just a small draft of the Find Richard Halliday bill that we would like to introduce in Congress when we, have the opportunity to do that. Uh, and what it would encompass is that anytime on a military installation that law enforcement are called in to respond to any kind of incident, that would be reported to the National Criminal Information Center database. And, so we're just getting started putting this bill together, but today was a short draft, suggesting this. I think it's very, very important that we have that. So it would be called the Richard Halliday bill, and it would be really about reporting incidents. Whereas the United States Constitution ensures the rights and the protections of all citizens, including those within the military installations, it is vital to uphold these principles in all aspects of military conduct. This section of the bill, and this is section 1, we're going to add a couple more sections, focuses on improving the incident reporting procedures to align with constitutional values. 2, um, really give more oversight and uh, limit the possibility for these criminal cabals, syndicates, to develop on our military installation and control themselves, be a world unto themselves, uh, judge themselves. You remember in our vile and vulgar phone calls, I said, just find Richard and then you can judge him. You can put him in front of a court and you can judge him. And no, the response was, we already judged him. So they already, the problem with Fort Bliss is that they had developed through the HRC a network of leadership, of dirty leadership, and I will include in that dirty CID lead agent Marlon Soto, dirty agent in the CID Tavita Nusa, dirty Director of Emergency Services Thomas Kane. He's very dirty. And I would say dirty Ann Ogle because there's 85,000 unaccounted for minors under her charge. I would say the dirty CPS worker that we know there, the dirty leaders there at Park University, the dirty James Hart, um, sitting on the board of IDS Pueblo for veterans disabilities benefits, and also the dirty JAG and the dirty chain of command, being it Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe or Major General White or Major General Eisenhower, James Eisenhower, Brigadier General David Stewart, Lieutenant General Donna Martin, General, 4-star General McConville, General Garrett. I don't mention him too much, but he's so dirty. General Garrett's so dirty. And of course, Major General Clem Coward, and of course, General Mealy. And there's more, right? And then, and we have the proof of the stage task force find Richard Halliday, the retaliatory field grade Article 15 with maximum punishment plus then some with the full battle gear for 45 days of extra duty. We also have Captain Park's letter. We have the archives. We have Nadal Baim's testimony with the cashier's testimony that shows that something very wrong is going on in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, hiding the remains of our son, hiding the fact that the FBI found Richard and they're hiding his remains. That's shocking. That is stunning. And so it really makes us want to go back there because of all the information that we receive and all the irregularities, just more and more. And then now we have an active duty soldier on Fort Bliss who, and I can read that. I should stick with this for a minute. But yeah, the values are not there. The esprit de corps is not there. And that's why we have this crime wave growing and growing inside of our military. And so we just, brainstormed and thought, how could, and I'm very proud of Richard Halliday for thinking this up. How could we slow this down? Okay. Because can you totally get rid of crime altogether? There's always criminals, right? There's none good, none at all, right? And so, but you can slow it, you can restrain it, you can restrain it. And that's what the laws are for. The laws are to restrain criminal activity. And so, one of those things is the laws are in place. And it's just that the transparency is so bad, right? The transparency. The transparency is so bad, and that's the problem. We've got plenty of laws. We've got the SOPs. We've got the UCMJ. We have billions of dollars being spent on law enforcement, and so that's not the problem. The problem is the transparency, right? So the Richard Halliday bill is proposing um, that all military installations, when they have an incident, a crime um, that involve law enforcement, that it needs to be reported and added to the National Crime Information Center, the NCIC, because then the broader there will be it will be so broad on who is going to have information on those incidents, and so there's a lot more oversight. It's not just one senator, it is a whole host of billion dollar law enforcement community that will absolutely know what's happening and be informed what's happening. And so there's a lot more oversight, and that's a transparency that we can absolutely do. It wouldn't cost uh, anything really, because it's all there in place. They just have to take the time to add those incidences to NCIC. So that is, and I think that that would have huge implications to the positive side, into the security and the life, the the welfare of our service members on any military installation. I really think it would be amazing. And so, why do we think this? Because of Sutherland Springs. Yesterday I said Uvalde. Um, I misspoke. It's Sutherland Springs is the one with Judge Xavier Rodriguez. And I'll be more versed as I, learn all of this that we're putting together. But, there was a former United States Air Force uh, at the Sutherland Springs Church there in Texas, Sutherland Springs, Texas. And the shooter had a history of violent behavior, including convictions that should have prevented him from purchasing firearms. But, however, those details did not get reported to NCIC, and he acquired weapons, and he conducted that deadly attack. So that is really important. Then the Maine shooting that just happened, that mass shooting, 18 people, 13 wounded. Uh, he, the Army had previously stated that the perpetrator, quote, should not have a weapon, unquote, but due to concerning behavior. But this crucial information was not relayed on the NCIC. And so, as a result, the shooter was able to legally obtain the firearms, and then you had the devastating incident. So, of course, and this is in 2023. Um, and I want to go to the Bulldog shooting. A recent incident at Fort Bliss involved two soldiers with unregistered firearms, resulting in a fatal shooting outside of a bar. This event emphasizes the urgent need for transparent reporting to the NCIC to prevent further criminal activities with military installations. So my problem is that Richard, we knew in 2020 with Dirty Agent Marlon Soto with Dirty General, Brigadier General David Stewart, to dirty, um, very dirty, very dirty Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, that the barracks were flush with weapons. And yet, here we have it in 2023, 3 years later, you have an incident, another shooting with unregistered firearms that are in the barracks, flush. They're flush with weapons because they did a health and welfare check on the Bulldogs right after the shooting on that one AD. And during that health and welfare check on Fort Bliss, where we have been doing this day in and day out, these leaders are so careless. They don't care. Colonel Adam Sheck, I hope I'm saying his name right, discovered a myriad of concerning items within the barracks. Unregistered weapons, ton of them. Illegal drugs and live ammunition and other things. And this further underscores the necessary for comprehensive reporting to the NCIC. This is super important for the safety and security of military personnel on military installations. And so, of course, and then our son's case, um, you know, Richard, the whistleblower, the Vanessa Guillen First Absent Soldier, Distinguished Honor Graduate, faced severe retaliation after exposing misconduct on Fort Bliss because there were arrests, y'all. And who's Eric Sade? Who's Eric Sade? Okay, I just have to drop that name because that has come up. Eric Sade. There are arrests. He seemed to be involved in all of this on Fort Bliss. False accusations, including, this fabricated DUI, and they of course, they smeared him, and then they retaliated against him, and then they smeared him again, and to discredit him as a witness testimony, right? So with video evidence, he had video evidence. So we know that from Belen Rocha. Belen Rocha, in the video to sphere on Fort Bliss would be different. The whole environment would be different if they had to do that because they know that they would be held accountable. So I see video signal. They're messing. But it is Friday night. So, okay. That is major news. And the other major news is that the Fort Bliss soldier that is, who's on Fort Bliss and is a crucial witness in this case now because he has requested a congressional inquiry that encompasses the case of our son, that Vanessa Guillen, First Absent Soldier. So the Fort Bliss soldier contacted us, and he has disclosed himself as a witness in Richard's case. He is poised to provide vital information regarding statements made by individuals associated with the disappearance of our son. So that is huge. And he did invoke his Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights because he knows a part of his congressional is the safety of service members. He doesn't feel safe. The JAG is working outside of the law. We have a dirty agent, Marlon Soto. We have a dirty agent, Tavita Nusa. Who else is dirty in that CID? I know we've got word that Marlon Soto is former CID agent. So that's would be very good news for that dirty agent to get out of there, and get out of our beautiful uniforms. This is really good news. But he has to take the Fifth and the Sixth to safeguard himself from self-incrimination, right? And also for ensuring his right to counsel during questioning. He can't just have, no representation, right? They can't just come in there and bully him. I mean, can you imagine if his commander would go in there and bully him? And even like say, if you don't answer these questions, I'm going to give you an Article 15, right? I'll make you wear full battle gear or something like this. I mean, this is what he's up against. And and can you imagine if he's doing that and law enforcement is sitting there, right? If the CID is sitting there watching him get bullied by a commander, he can't risk that. So this is really important that he take the 5th and 6th. And he contacted us to let us know that he is standing firm and this congressional inquiry is going forward because he wants legal counsel by his side because he doesn't trust Fort Bliss security and safety for his own safety as a witness. And of course, look what happened to Richard, also being a witness blower, a whistleblower. So that's really, really, he is poised to provide vital information regarding the statements made by individuals associated by our son's disappearance. In that disappearance, he's ready to make those statements. So that is amazing news. Okay, so I am. We've just written 3 letters today. That's really important for everyone to know that we're getting that constant institutional support where we have to go back and forth to write the letters to clarify things is really important. That's happening. That's getting done. And really, if you don't have any questions on this beautiful Friday night, I wish everyone the best, absolutely the best, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. One other thing that I have to pause because I want everyone to know of some other information that has come in that I mentioned last night that I need to mention again. One is about the soldiers' petition. Thank you so much. We're at, I think, around 315. So we are adding signatures. So if you have not added your signature to the petition, please do so. This is, what is anyone going to say? Oh, you support an active duty service member to have a congressional inquiry? That's what this is. So everyone can get behind it. If you think that what I'm saying is not right, is not true, or whatever, you can even sign it, right? Everyone can get behind this because who doesn't want to get to the truth, right? We all want to get to the truth, right? It seems to me that the only ones that wouldn't want to get to the truth are the ones that have something to hide. So absolutely, we are very excited about the congressional inquiry. So another thing that I want to say is Leilani Hart has open cases right now. She has multiple open cases right now, okay, that are not under the statute of limitations as of yet. They're still open. And she's being investigated. We got a heads up on that one. And so she's being investigated and she has multiple open cases and that means she can be arrested at any time, And I think that that's very important at this point to let everyone know that Leilani Hart can be arrested at any time right now. So that's very important. Okay, thank you, everyone. God bless you. Sign the petition, and I will be back